Hi, I'm Rupha Ramani, and welcome to Cup of Dreams here on Firstpost. We've been sort of starting our journey here of giving you all the updates, all the ringside view, the feature that you've been watching over the last few days as we've hit the road. And we started our journey along with India's in the Cricket World Cup. And what a way it has sort of commenced for the Indian cricket team. They've beaten Australia by 7 wickets. On the face of it, it obviously looks to be a very comfortable win and probably was towards the end, but not without its fair share of hiccups. Um, let's look a little bit about how the match progressed and sort of just to give you a bit of a review of the way India started its journey here at the Cricket World Cup. Now, a match like India versus Australia or any sort of a big ticket event where you have two big matchups, big teams facing off is always a little risky because you always want to start your World Cup campaign on a winning note. You want to set the right momentum because it is a long tournament and the aim sort of of every team is to sort of pace themselves out. So because you do have the ebbs and flows, but at least you start off on the right foot before you're even pegged back. So that is always the challenge in such an event, in such a tournament, and it was fitting for India to sort of start off on a winning note. Let's sort of decode a bit of how this match progressed. If you looked at the first innings, Australia would have to be disappointed by the way they started and they batted through. Target of 200 wasn't really going to be enough. Probably 250, 260 would still have been fighting because the track wasn't the easiest to bat on. We saw puffs of dust coming off every time you had the ball hitting the certain areas. I think they would be really disappointed with the way a lot of the veterans who gave good starts reached 40s and didn't really convert it to big scores or see the team through and stay till the end of the innings or take it through. I think that is what they would hurt them the most. Batting first, which was a good decision. They really didn't see that decision through. The spinners, we set it up really well in the preview when we mentioned that the spinners would be key for this particular contest, and the way the Australian batters were tackling spin itself, you knew that they were troubled by it. They didn't want to face Jadeja and Kuldeep, who really ran riot in that middle overs phase. Ashwin did put them in a bit of a check, but but wasn't as successful in his scalps as his other two teammates. But that they really put Australia in a very difficult position. And 200 definitely, India would have come out thinking this is a very easy target to achieve. For Australia's credit, I think the one positive they can take back after this match is the way their pace unit performed, especially at the top. Josh Hazelwood was coming in thinking he was a little jaded. He wasn't really coming in at the back of some very good performances. He was a little rough, but he sort of turned it all around. And the way they put India on the mat, where your top order, Ishan Kishan, as we predicted, he would open the innings with Rohit Sharma back for zero. Rohit Sharma, a dangerous proponent for any sort of situation, back for zero. Shreyas Iyer again. And a couple of those wickets really falling to choices of shots that probably wasn't required at that stage or at that point, given the sort of target that you had. At the start of this match, at the preview, we did say that the player to watch out for would be Virat Kohli. Going by how he loves pressure situations, tense situations, a good opponent, and a fierce battle, he really, really drove it through. Though I think the turning point came when they dropped him. Mitch Marsh dropped Virat Kohli when he was just beginning. I think when he was on 15. I think that was a very costly drop. And Mitch Marsh almost got there. He got to the ball, but probably lost concentration. And as he skidded, he just he couldn't pouch that one. I think that would be a really big miss that they would be ruining right now in hindsight. But again, those are just ifs and buts that in a game that really, really sort of swung back in India's favor right from that point. I think any sort of tenacity, any sort of momentum or pressure that Australia had managed to build on India till that point just went away because Kohli then just put his head down and built a very strong and confident partnership with KL Rahul at the other end to see India through. And I think KL as well has to give a pat on the back for him, having kept wickets, then coming back and providing a really good anchor role for Virat to sort of then take the innings forward and blisteringly see it through was, I think, very mature. from KL Rahul. So the middle order, which we always sort of were raising a few questions of at the start of the tournament, really sort of delivering here. That's one positive sign for India in this tournament. The spin unit, a very, very good sign. We said at the start, at our preview, we did say that it would be a three-pronged spin attack, and that's what it was. We did say Ishan would start not really the way he would have liked his first opening innings or his first sort of stint as an opener to have gone. He would be really disappointed. So a few things to sort of reflect back on for both the sides, but largely the happier team was definitely India. Both the teams now sort of kickstart their journeys in different cities. They kickstart the other part of their journey. The second matches that both India and Australia will be playing will be in different cities. Australia heads to Lucknow, if I'm not mistaken, to play South Africa in their next tie. I think that's a very, very that's going to be a very, very key encounter, because as we know, South Africa has come on the back of a very, very massive win against Sri Lanka. They scored, I think, close to 428 runs. That was a massive sort of a victory for South Africa. And if you look at the schedule as well, you'll know that India is going to play Afghanistan next in Delhi. I think that's going to be, again, important encounter to keep that momentum going. And it's a good thing that this is coming right after a solid sort of win against Australia. So a lot of positives surely for India in this first encounter of the World Cup at Chepauk. They'll be really happy about this. For Australia, they have to go back to the drawing board and come back with some solutions to a few aspects that they were found lacking in. So yes, like I was saying, October 11th in Delhi, India takes on Afghanistan. That's something that they would want to close out and say, okay, that's one couple of points that's much deserved, much needed in the bag. So you're not thinking of what permutations, combinations would come in later, because as the tournament progresses, the tough part of who will qualify then comes in. Australia then goes to Lucknow, if I'm not mistaken, and they play South Africa. Yes, that's a big, big one. That's on Thursday in Lucknow. Again, a very new venue that they'll have to get used to. You, of course, need to keep following us here on Firstpost and Firstpost. Me and my camera person Deepan will be traveling through the length and breadth and bringing you all the latest, some interesting features, the sights and sounds of the cities, the Cricket Connect in all the different cities. We did that here in Chennai for you, and we will continue the journey as India progresses in this tournament. So this is what the update we have here for you, the first live update of the day. India beating Australia pretty convincingly towards the end, I think. Pretty decent matchup, a contest, but Australia wouldn't be too happy with the way that went. So that's all we have here for you for now. Do keep following us here for more such updates and a regular roundup of all that's happening in the Cricket World Cup. You know, the Cup of Dreams. Keep following us. I'll see you again tomorrow, of course, with some previews and, of course, the show where I'll see you at 7 p.m. as I always do for all Asian Games updates as well. But for now, take care. Thank you so much for watching in. Have a good night's rest. We'll see you again tomorrow.